I'm scared. I'm just like, what the I'm a mess. I got my sprained ankle.
That's the whole point of this fight. It creates conversation, barbershop conversations, taxi conversations, airplane conversations, and that's what we want. The more people talking about the fight.
The arena swung from a storm of cheers to a stunned hush and back again within a few heartbeat-long exchanges. Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul was built as a collision of eras, a decorated heavyweight searching to reassert himself, and a social media-born fighter who has spent years turning spectacle into sporting credibility. When the final bell rang, the internet detonated. Highlight reels, hot takes, and surgeons of opinion dissected the fight frame by frame. In the hours that followed, both men finally spoke, raw, measured, and defiant. The night was bigger than a single name on a scorecard.
At the end of the day, I'm a kid with a big heart that wants to change the world, disruptor, and I never took no for an answer, and I'm just chasing my dreams, having fun, and living the American dream, really. It's a testament to hard work, and every single day dedicating yourself to a craft, pushing through when you don't want to be there, and it all pays off in the long run, and believing in yourself, setting goals that people think are impossible. That's really what my story is all about. And
there's a unique silence that follows massive nights in boxing, not an absence of sound, but the heavy pause before order returns to chaos. Trainers checked vitals, doctors made their rounds, and both camps withdrew behind closed doors. When the public statements finally arrived, they were personal and unfiltered. Admissions of exhaustion, grudging praise, and the kind of controlled fury only an athlete can truly wear. Anthony Joshua's first message read like a man taking inventory of what the night had taken and given, the missed angles, the rounds that slipped away, the moments destined for years of analysis. Jake Paul's opening comment, equal parts bravado and bone-deep candor, leaned into the fight's emotional weather, the loneliness, the raw, the fractal judgment that follows every controversial exchange. Both men stressed the same truth: respect for the moment, gratitude for the crowd, and a desire to let the fight live in memory before being reduced to a single line on a scorecard.
He has a very side-on stance, tries to practice the Philly shell, and I think Jake has a chance that is slim to none.
I appreciate it.
All good?
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you very much.
See you guys.
Heavyweight of the world!
Yeah, can you get my back? No.
For the first week of sparring, I had to get comfortable in there and let things slow down and feel the power out and get the confidence to slip, catch, move.
In the lead up to the clash, predictions were everywhere and sharply divided. Odds makers and many analysts installed Anthony Joshua as the favorite, listing him as the expected winner across most betting markets. That outlook was echoed by major outlets and betting boards alike. On the analytical side, CBS Sports and their Sportsline combat expert Josh Nagel leaned toward Joshua, with Nagel's top prop calls including Joshua to win by KO/TKO, a reflection of his resume against high-level opposition and proven finishing power. Yahoo Sports viewers similarly flagged Joshua as the man most likely to end the fight in the early rounds, citing how the referee, the stage, and the moment itself could favor the more experienced heavyweight. Still, the chorus wasn't unanimous. Boxing's louder personalities and several high-profile fighters offered contrarian takes. Tyson Fury, never shy about staking both words and money on his beliefs, publicly suggested that Jake Paul could land the kind of punch that changes everything, even claiming he would bet heavily on Paul in a hypothetical scenario. That show of confidence fueled the idea that the unexpected remained very much in play. Dana White, in his trademark blunt fashion, delivered a candid appraisal, mixing skepticism toward crossover narratives with a grudging respect for Paul's willingness to step into true heavyweight drama, a reminder that the sport's gatekeepers were watching closely, judging, and occasionally surprised. Then there were the fighters themselves. Jake Paul, who has spent years insisting he's here to rewrite the rules, publicly predicted victory and maintained that Anthony Joshua could not knock him out, projecting confidence on platforms like the Pat McAfee Show and throughout the early media run. That tension in the pre-fight predictions added real value to the event. When an underdog has credible believers and the favorite has analytical heavyweights in his corner, the fight gains a cinematic edge that makes every round feel consequential. Post-fight, the pundit class did what pundits do. Threads were retracted, positions doubled down on, and unexpected moments praised. Some former champions and active pros admitted they had misread the tempo. Others turned the bout into a teaching moment. Amir Khan, for example, spoke about the kind of strike that could halt influencer boxing altogether, praising Joshua's ability to impose old-school knockout power and discipline onto a modern spectacle. Other fighters flooded social media with breakdowns of technical adjustments, ring generalship, and rare moments where crowd energy flipped expectations. What stood out was the honesty. Few tried to cover being wrong. Instead, many used the fight to talk craft, how to prepare for a social media-born fighter who has sharpened timing against seasoned fringe professionals, and how a veteran like Joshua must brace for both physical and narrative threats, the kind that can sway officials, broadcasters, and momentum itself.
It's something about Joshua or Jake, I'm waiting for this fight because I'm so excited. But, Jake have a lot of chance to win, and a lot of people think he not, but I believe in Jake. Joshua is the best fighter and have a lot of experience in boxing. He's a heavyweight guy, but Jake improved a lot, and the people need respect both. Because it's not everybody have sorry my language, but have a balls for come inside the ring.
From the opening bell, the tone was immediate and kinetic. Early flurries suggested that Jake Paul's awkward, aggressive angles could find openings. There were rounds that looked like textbook heavyweight boxing, distance control, disciplined jabs, and thudding power shots. Moments that appeared routine on pause felt seismic in real time, a short uppercut that made the crowd collectively inhale, a brief stumble that shifted the balance of an entire round. In the aftermath, both fighters spoke respectfully about those key moments. Anthony Joshua's camp highlighted effective jab work and power combinations. Paul's team pointed to scrappy infighting and a level of ring confidence that belied his non-traditional path into the sport's highest tiers of attention. Both camps focused on what the fight actually extracted from each man: new respect, new doubts, and a gallery of what ifs. If the ring was where the fight happened, social media was where it lived forever. A single exchange, a clean collision, or a near fall became the night's lingua franca. Clips looped into the millions. Pundits, celebrities, and casual fans argued technique, replay by replay. Memes turned a fleeting grimace into weeks of hot takes. Both fighters leaned into that ecosystem. Short, raw clips released from the dressing room or en route to medical checks pulled fans into the inner theater. The effect was to humanize and monetize in the same breath. Intimate cells of post-fight confession convinced viewers they were seeing something real, not a press-managed narrative. Trainers from both camps spoke like surgeons. Joshua's corner pointed to missed range management and the need to maintain a higher guard against unconventional angles. Paul's team praised conditioning and heart, while acknowledging tactical blind spots against an opponent with Joshua's shot-making. Both sides spoke the language of learning. Neither used the platform for grandstanding or excuses. Instead, there were clinical breakdowns: why a particular round tilted, how pace stressed a game plan, and what could be corrected moving forward. The comments read like homework lists, notes the fighters will carry into their next training cycles.
Sometimes the better fighter carries the other fighter, or maybe goes a little easier. Is there any part of you that maybe thinks that way, or are you going in there 100%?
Zero part of me. And it's not even that it's Jake. It's just, do you know, I was actually looking at myself today. I'm a very respectful guy, brought up by a good family, but if I can kill you, I will kill you. That's just how I am. And this is just the job I do. So
this fight moved serious commercial meters. Betting markets swung during the bout and throughout the post-fight weekend. Pay-per-view numbers were dissected, and promoters circled potential rematches like prize bulls. Outlets such as CBS Sports and other betting analysts published prop bets and adjusted lines in real time, a reminder that modern boxing is equal parts sport and data-driven entertainment industry. Executives and broadcasters will be counting rewatch sales and subscription spikes for weeks. A high-drama night like this is currency. It funds future cards, converts casual viewers, and can reframe a fighter's marketability overnight. If pundits argued craft, fans argued meaning. Social feeds filled with confessions and declarations of lifelong allegiance. Older boxing fans grumbled about spectacle. Younger viewers celebrated the collision of content and craft. Neutral observers admitted they'd been pulled into the theater of the night. The lines all converged on the same feeling: this was a moment people wanted to have experienced live. Both fighters thanked those fans in separate messages, acknowledging that win or lose, the spectacle only exists because people showed up and paid attention. Talk of running it back began in the stands and never fully stopped. For promoters, the logic is simple. Controversy equals commerce, and a rematch sells itself. Both camps remain deliberately non-committal in public remarks, a familiar negotiating posture that keeps pressure on the other side while allowing the market to measure appetite for another date. Veteran boxing insiders know a rematch becomes inevitable when the first night leaves more questions than answers. Both men left the door open, which is to say, the story isn't finished. Not by a long shot. Both camps also made a point to emphasize health in their statements. Monitoring, precautionary checks, and recovery language dominated the messaging, necessary reminders that beyond narrative and commerce, long-term welfare comes first. Those health-first notes cooled some of the more fevered social chatter and shifted attention toward recovery and next steps. Fights have a way of recalibrating narratives. For Anthony Joshua, this night becomes another chapter in a career defined by heavyweight titles, painful setbacks, and public reinvention. For Jake Paul, it stands as a high-stakes proof or disproof moment for a career built on attention and legitimate results inside the ring. Both men used the word legacy. One framed it as a long arc. The other treated it as immediate work. Both seem to agree on one truth: legacy is built on response. How they react in the weeks and months ahead, in training, in the press, and back in the ring, may matter more than any single result. By the end of the night, both fighters spoke with a mix of humility and fire. They thanked their teams, admitted pain and disappointment in equal measure, and promised a return to the gym, focused, deliberate, and intent on what comes next.
Is a massive bonus. So for me, I'm not worried about what people think about the integrity side. I'm more worried about, are they talking? And as long as
this was a strategic, deeply human choice. This fight, Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul, will not fade quickly. It will be memed, classified, taught in gyms, and litigated by pundits for years to come. The immediate statements from both fighters did something smart. They focused on what the fight cost them and what it gave back in return: lessons, respect, and momentum to write the next chapter. Whether that chapter begins with a rematch, a renewed heavyweight run, or an entirely different set of opponents, one thing is clear. Both men will be judged less by a single outcome and more by what they choose to do next. But what did you think of the fight's outcome? And who should Jake Paul face next to continue proving he belongs among legitimate boxers? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and stay tuned for all the latest boxing updates.